안녕하세요. Hangulish 쌤입니다. Today, we're covering Chapter 2-1, Daily Life. It sounds a little bit weird when you hear daily life. Take it as this chapter, you're going to learn multiple things you normally do on your daily lives, such as sleep, or work, or eating, and etc. Okay? And first, the minimum vocabularies. 뭐, 무엇. 무엇 is the original form of what. 뭐 is a shorter term of what. 뭐, 무엇. 하다, 하다. 일하다, 일하다. 공부하다, 공부하다. 전화하다, 전화하다. 운동하다, 운동하다. 이야기하다, 이야기하다. 먹다, 먹다. 자다, 자다. 지금, 지금. I want to point out 하다 here, do or does. You see these words have 하다, but 일하다 is work, 공부하다 is study, and 전화하다 is phone as a verb. 운동하다 is exercise as a verb. It is something we covered in the basics, so if you haven't watched those, I highly recommend to go back to that video and then study. So after you taking out 하다, the remaining part, 일, 공부, 전화, 운동, these are actually nouns. So 일 is work as a noun, 공부 is a study as a noun, 전화 is a phone or telephone as a noun, 운동하다, exercise as a noun. Oh, one last one, same thing, 이야기하다. So removing 하다, 이야기 means talk as a noun or story. And this is the vocabulary table that was also covered in the basics. So again, if you haven't watched it, I really recommend you to going through them. I'll put the link in the pinned comment. Let's take a look. 일하다, which means work as a verb, and this column is a gerund or adjective form. What it does is, when you have ending with the da, it cannot be used in spoken sentence. So, which means you need to conjugate it to be able to use it in a sentence. So if it's verb, there are usually two ways. So you removing da, the root word is here. Root word doesn't have a 받침, then you will just use the 받침 formula, 일한. Or you can use full letter, either 는 or 은, whichever makes it easier to pronounce. And this case is 일하는. So the difference in here, if you look at the bottom, for verb, 느 받침 transformation is past adjective, ed. Or 는 or 은 transformation is active adjective, like ing. So that being said, 일한 makes it worked. 일하는 is working. If I give you a quick example, 사람 is a person. 일한 사람 becomes person who worked person. 일하는 사람 is a person who is working person. And next, casual speaking form, which is 아요 or 어요. So same thing, if you're conjugating 일하다 by removing da, and 아요, 어요, 일해요, because 하다, exceptionally 아요, 어요, is 해요. And formal speaking, 일합니다. Same thing goes 공부하다. Study as a verb, so the same thing. You need to conjugating as a gerund or adjective form to be able to use it in a spoken sentence. So 공부하, this is the root. 공부한 makes it past adjective. Or if you just add 는, that's active adjective. So 공부한, again, if you add the 사람, person after, 공부한 사람, person who studied person. It could be interpreted as educated person. 공부하는 사람 is person who's studying, so studying person. And then again, it's 하다, so casual speaking form 아요, 어요 becomes 해요, 공부해요. And formal speaking form 씁니다, 공부합니다. And lastly, 먹다. This one, unlikely the first two, doesn't have 하다. 먹다, eat. So you can have only one way as 먹 has a 받침. So this new 받침 formula is not going to be working for gerund and adjective form. So 먹는, 먹는. And 먹어요, 먹어요. 먹습니다, 먹습니다. So with this table, I mentioned it in the basics. It's not only just memorizing 일하다 is work, but which you cannot actually use on your sentence. But with these, 일한, 일하는 conjugation, or the casual speaking form 일해요, or formal speaking form 일합니다, you can just apply that into your speech right away. Like, 저는 일하는 사람이에요. Like we learned in the previous lesson, is noun plus 이에요. It's stating what is noun. So when you say 저는 일하는 사람이에요, I'm a person who's working. Or you can simply say I work. 저는 일해요. So I found it's really useful. So I actually created this table. I really recommend you guys using this table when you learn new vocabularies. And this table is just for adjective and verbs, as noun doesn't need to be conjugated. Grammar number 1, verb or adjective plus 아요 or 어요. This must be really familiar for those who already watched the basics. It's one of the speaking forms. 아요 or 어요, it describes or states status or an action. And then one more thing to remember is, previously we covered from the vocabularies, the noun plus 하다 verbs. This 하다, when it's applying to this 아요 or 어요 speaking form, it becomes 해요. So it will become noun plus 해요. So noun plus 하다 is the original part, not a speaking form. And when you combine with the 아요, 어요, which is a speaking form, it becomes noun plus 해요. Between 아요 and 어요, there's no specific rule which one is being used what case. However, whichever is easier to pronounce, that is the one. 지금 뭐 해요? 지금 뭐 해요? Meaning, now, what do you do? 지금 일해요. 지금 일해요. I work now. 지금 먹어요. 지금 먹어요. I eat now. 지금 자요. 지금 자요. I sleep now. 리사 씨는 전화해요. Miss or Mrs. Lisa phones. 마이클 씨는 이야기해요. 마이클 씨는 이야기해요. Mr. Michael talks. Previously, you could have only say 지금 뭐 하다, 지금 일하다, 지금 먹다, 지금 자다. 리사 씨는 전화하다. 마이클 씨는 이야기하다. As it's ending with the da, it's not actually speaking form. Ending with the da cannot be used as a speaking form. It's a written format. So you can find the books ending with the da, but when you talk to someone, you will have to change, applying to 아요 or 어요, which is one of the speaking form. So let's practice here. Lisa studies. Lisa, if you recall what subjective marker to use, 리사는 공부해요. And Michael exercises. 마이클은 운동해요. 민수 eats. 민수는 먹어요. Lisa sleeps. This one is questioning, so we all know we have to just raise the ending. 리사는 자요? And answer, yes, Lisa sleeps. 네, 리사는 자요. Michael phones. 마이클은 전화해요. 민수 talks. 민수는 이야기해요. So after we cover this today, I want you to talk about what you do in speaking form. You can now say those in Korean. Please review them and then do this practice on your own. And if you have a question, you're always welcome to leave in comment. And I'll see you in next lesson. 안녕히 계세요.